Hi guys, welcome to Team T. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button down below, and let's roll. I have to mention, it might be a long story, so grab some snacks, grab some drinks, and come back. And by the way, I'm not judging anybody. This is just what happened. This is just my opinion. I just find this funny. This is why I'm sharing it. You know what I'm saying? I don't try to shade anybody. So I have to start from... I was single at the time. I'm not sure how many years ago it was, maybe like 5 or 6 years. So there was like this dating application app. Maybe it was Tinder, but I'm not too sure, but something like Tinder. And my friends were like, well, you're single for so long, you have to find somebody, you have to start like moving your ass a little bit. So I was like, okay. So I got the app because they recommended. Apparently it's a cool app, and a lot of people where I live have the app. This is what they said. So I downloaded the app. In the beginning I got like loads of like weird people messages and like quite boring, like it's just like hi, or like I don't know, I just couldn't connect with nobody. And then there was this guy, let's call him Jack. So Jack messaged me and he seemed quite lovely. He was younger than I was, but he didn't have his age on the thing. But I asked him afterwards, and he apparently was like 4 years younger than me, which I was like, oh, that's weird. But he came across through the messages quite mature, so I was like, okay. He was quite nice. He was quite consistent. Like, he was like always asking me how I am, how's my day, what's up, blah, blah. We were talking like for 2 weeks. And then one day he was like, oh, I'm so eager to meet you. I really want to meet you. And I was like, well, I'm not sure. I was working actually afternoon shift that day. So he was like, I'm gonna meet you before work. I can walk you like, because he like literally messaged me like an hour before I have to leave the house. So he was like, oh, I'll walk you like to your bus stop, because I had to pick up a bus to work at that time. I was like, I'll walk you to work and we can have a short chat, whatever. I was like, yeah, that's fine. Because this was like I knew it gonna be like a short amount of time I'm gonna see him, so I was not nervous about it. So I met him, he walked me to my bus stop, we had a great chat, he seems like a nice guy. And then I went to work, and then the same day he was like, oh, I would like to take you out on a date this weekend. I was like, yeah, sure. So we decided to have a date, and the city I live in, we have a river, so we decided to meet by the river. Like literally, I'm like talking about it, I remember everything. I was just like, I just want to laugh about everything what happened. Okay, stay tuned and you're gonna be like shocked. These things just happened to me, I swear to God. So we're meeting by the river this and this time. So because he said to me as well, we're gonna go to the clubs later on. So I'm like all dolled up, looking hella cute, whatever. We meet by the river. It's like by the river we have like a lot of space to sit and benches and stuff, and it's quite romantic and cute there. So we met up there, we're sitting on the bench, and he brought with him like this 2-liter plastic lemonade bottle, the cheapest lemonade, like not judging on it, but like it's looking the cheapest ass bottle with lemonade. And I'm like, that's a bit weird. And he's like, oh, do you want a cocktail? I'm like, what you mean? He's like, this lemonade with vodka. So he mixed lemonade with vodka, put it in a plastic bottle, and brought to our date. And I'm like all fancy and cute. Like, I'm not judging if you don't have money, but like there's different ways about it. And I was like, oh, this is weird. So from that second, I should have known that they're gonna go sour. So I was like, no, thank you. So he drinks it up. He drank all of it. Like, I'm not sure how much vodka was in there, how much lemon, like what's the ratio, but he drank it all. He got a little bit tipsy. And then we went to this like fancy bar, because he apparently knew people there, as in like, I think, or he worked there or his friends worked there, something like that. So we went there, and he's like, oh, let me get you a cocktail. And I was like, no, I'm fine, because I already like not feeling it a little bit. Like I started to be weird, and I was like, if I want a drink, I'll buy myself. I rather, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know him that much. So he's like, no, it's 2 for 1. So he insists to buying me a drink because 2 for 1. So it's like, I was like, okay. So he get me a drink. He's like, chooses whatever. The drink was alright. But I didn't like the drink, but I'm not complaining, you know what I mean? He bought me a drink, that was nice. And then we're standing, and then he sees some people, he walks off from me. I'm there by myself, I don't know nobody, I'm standing by myself with a drink, like, just like, okay, this is awkward. And then he comes back, and he's like, yeah, sorry, it's my friends. I'm like, yeah, no worries, blah, blah, whatever. And then he constantly looks at this girl, this bomb-ass, hot girl, like, she's blonde, like, she has, like, this really low cut dress, and like she's like cute as hell. He's like, you see that girl? I'm like, yeah. Like, in my head, I'm like, I've noticed you like staring at her constantly. He's like, oh, she's my ex-girlfriend. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, but don't worry. She's like, he said something like wooden in the bed, like she's like stiff in the bed. And I was like, awkward. And I was like, literally at that point I wanted to run, but at that time I was more like, I don't know how to explain, I was too nice for people, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is weird, like, but whatever. And then we carry on, and I was like, oh, maybe we should go to another club, because I started to feel awkward. And he's like, yeah, let's go, because he said we're gonna go to like 3 different places. So I was like, let's go to the next one. So went to the next one, and he knows everybody there. He worked there at the time, I believe, or he worked there part-time or something like that. And then we get in there, and then we meet some of his friends, and one of the friends like talking to me, like having like a laugh. And then somebody comes, some other guy comes, and he's like, oh, you his date? And I'm like, yeah, hi, whatever, my name is this and this. And this friend says to me, can you give him your cake? But in a different manner. I don't remember exactly how he said, but basically what he was saying to me, if I could take him to my place tonight. And I was like, strange. This was like, girl, I was embarrassed. I wanted to run. I hated the whole thing. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I was in that mode when you like kind of like trying not to kick off, but you like almost like on the verge too, you know what I'm saying? It was like, it was the worst that happened. And he was there, and everybody was listening to it. Was not like even a private comment, it was like a loud comment. So group of people who we were with at the time heard what he said. So I was like, girl, I was like shocked. I just started laughing, from like hysterically laughing, because I found this so embarrassing, so downgrade. I was like, what the hell? Like, there's like no chance for me to even maybe call the guy next day, but because of these things happening, like, I just want to run. Like, it was horrible. It was like literally the worst experience I ever had. And everybody found this, like, because it's mainly were males there, they found it really hilarious. I found it really intimidating. I didn't like it at all. And then he was like, oh, it's your turn to buy me a drink. So I was like, okay, fine. I was not really happy about it, but I bought him a drink, because basically what I'm saying, yes, I agree 50-50 and that, but we have to talk about, like, because I didn't have much money on me that day. I had like for 4 drinks for myself. So I had some coin, but I didn't have enough money to like buy him loads and loads of drinks. But I was like, okay, fine. He bought me a drink, I will buy him one. And then we get to another club, because I was like, oh, let's go to another club, because I'm like expecting it to get better. I'm like still hoping and praying for it to get better. So we go to another club, and he buys me like a drink, and from then on I'm like, I want just orange juice. Like, I'm like, I don't feel safe around his friend, as in like, they don't look intimidating, but I don't like the comments. So I'm like, I'm not gonna put myself in any like situation right there, because I feel like I'm already quite like, I felt already like I'm screwed up. Like, I felt really embarrassed. It was the most, I even don't have words, like, it was the worst experience I ever had on a date ever. So, okay, so he buys me juice, he buys a drink for himself. We go to like, there's like a few different rooms there with different music. So we go to like rap music one, because we both liked rap music at the time. I like still rap music, you know what I mean? But now I'm more like open-minded about music. And went to rap music, and he doesn't dances. He just chats to people. He just leaves me alone, and I'm just standing by myself dancing like, you know, like a cuckoo person. And I felt really like weird and stuff. And I was like, maybe he doesn't like me. Maybe this is why he's acting this weird. I don't know. And what happened next is just shocked me. So he asked me to buy some drinks. I'm like, it started to feel too much, like, because he doesn't ask me. He just comes to me and is like, it's your turn to buy drinks. And I'm like, are you for real? Like, is this what you're saying to me? Like, I am like princess and you want me to buy you drinks. But I bought it because I was like, yeah, it's fair enough. He bought me drinks, I could buy him next drinks, which is fine. But I don't know, it's just maybe my culture, because in my culture, like, if you take me out on the first date, it's your kind of job to buy me drinks. I didn't expect that anyway, but I don't expect you to ask me to buy drinks. If I don't offer, I don't offer, you know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of thing. So that put me off massively. But anyway, I bought him a drink, and then we stayed in the same room with rap music on. I was dancing. Either he was standing next to me just like that, looking at people, or either he was talking to somebody who he knew, or he would walk somewhere and come back. Like, it was just freaking weird, you know what I mean? And then he comes to the bar and he's like, oh, let's go chat to my friend. And we went. And in front of me, he asked his friend who works on the bar, give us some free drinks. And I was like, what? Are you for real? Like, I was fuming. Like, I was so angry. And I was like, no, I'm fine. He's like, no, let me get you a drink. And this friend, yeah, don't worry, I'll give you a drink. And I'm like, okay, I want juice. So he gives me juice. I drink that really quickly. And I'm quite like waiting for a second to tell him I just want to go. Because like, in that moment in time, like with my brain now, I would walk off probably when we're by the river. I would create something. But in that moment in time, I didn't expect it to go so bad. So I didn't have like a plan in my head. And I was quite like trying to like live through this. So I was not trying to walk off or anything like that. I didn't want to be rude. But literally, if this would be me, if this would happen now, I would just walk off. You know what I mean? Like, and then that time, my head was like so naive and I was so crazy to just stay. And so I drank my juice and I was like kind of thinking what I should say, how I should be, like, what should I say that I need to go. And then he's like, he drank his alcoholic drink. I don't remember what was it, but it was like something mixed with vodka. And he drank it so fast and he's like, your turn to buy. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not too much, like, I don't want to drink anymore. I don't feel that well. I want to go home. He's like, oh yeah, it's okay. And I was like, will you walk me home? And he's like, oh, you want me to walk you home? I'm like, yeah, because it's like where I live, it's quite safe. But I was like, at least you should walk me home, I think. So he was like, I could see he didn't want me to ask him to walk me home. Like, he didn't want to walk me home. That was so obvious. He was like, yeah, if you want me to. So I lived maybe 15 minutes walk from this last club, like really close. It was really close to my house. And on our way back, he met like halfway, like 5 minutes away from the club. He met some of his friends on the street. They started chatting. He's like, oh, okay, have a nice night. I see you, okay. And I was like, fine. So I went home by myself in the dark, like 2 a.m. in the morning or like 1 a.m. in the morning. I don't remember the time, but it was like dark outside. And I was like quite fuming. And I was like, I'll just ignore him. I won't respond to him whatsoever. And next morning, he messages me saying he loved the date, that he would like to meet me again, la da da da. And I was like, what? And I said, sorry, I didn't enjoy the date as much as you did. I don't think we suited for each other. I don't think we like have nothing in common really. Like, I'm sorry, but let's just stay friends. And he blocked me straight away. Like, he blocked me straight away. I was like, so, like, I should have seen it coming. I should have seen it coming. I should have been like, man, girl, bye. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, literally could not believe what happened to me whatsoever. Like, it was the worst thing that happened to me as like a date wise, you know what I mean? Like, it's the worst date that ever happened. Like, this is it was just, I just cannot talk. Like, I feel so, when I remember it, it was like hilarious. Like, man, like, my advice, if you take a girl out, don't go on a date if you feel like you're broke. Maybe you shouldn't go on a date if you feel like you want to hang out with your boys, because the girl will feel left out. Maybe don't invite a girl on a date if you want to get really drunk, okay? So that's what I want to say, okay? And thank you for watching. If you watched all of it, peace out. Thank you. You're a keeper. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that situation. Peace out.